This is a public announcement. Naked flames are prohibited in the vicinity of Cubicle 3. You all know what happened last time. Dave's eyebrows still haven't grown back.
Hutton Orbital Radio, the only radio station to give you time off for good behaviour.
There is a new base in Dabby Major, and it has Alvin's name all over it. Well, it has his name on the front end anyway. The creation of Alvin Station writes a historical sign-writing mistake which has irked the people of Alpha Centauri for a long time. When Al-Din Station was unveiled to the locals, they were aghast and agog. How could this have happened? Well, the signwriter was on his lunch and reading up on Arabic culture at the time. And as you do. And he dropped the blob of tomato ketchup on a piece of paper with his instructions, and he couldn't read some of the name. So he just went back and looked right, and with what looked right to him. And so poor Alvin was left without a station to his name. I mean, they were going to change it, but no one could find the right form, and AC had already been scanned by an explorer by then. The request had been in committee after committee after committee ever since, and is going to a subcommittee working group for a focus and feedback session next Thursday. The subcommittee will then report back to the main committee at a date to be confirmed in the main committee pre-agenda meeting, but we're not hopeful. No. Instead, it was easier for some truckers to hop over to Dabby Major and hollow out an asteroid, shore it all up with scaffolding, and install some second-hand landing pads which were going cheap on Galbay. And they went further than that, quite a lot further, about half a light year further to be exact. Everyone chipped in and bought an old derelict industrial platform from Honest Ernie's new and nearly new Space Emporium, which was then dropped in system, towed 15 million light seconds or so, and renamed Hutton Orbital. System security believes there's an onion head farm on one of the small pads, but no one can be bothered to go all the way out there to check. On board, one of the techs is awakened by a ping. He looks across his console and sees a message has been received on one of the old-style radio receivers. The date stamp says 29th November 3310, 6 months ago. Intrigued, he opens the message and reads it aloud.
Our mics are live. Welcome to tonight's show. I'm Rudolph Hucker, and I'm hoping I didn't just make you yawn, but I'm settling in for the long haul.
I'm Wilma Fingerdew, and I'm going for a nap. Wake me up when we get there.
I'm your Harkness, and I'm feeling sick. Space sick.
I'm Norma Snockers, and I brought sandwiches and a thermos for the trip.
I'm Sandy Crevice, and I should have gone before we left.
While we stop at the services to get this lot sorted out, let's have a look at, this week's headlines. Chuck chucks it in.
Concourse chaos as touch terminals go AWOL.
When it's a vanguard, not a vanguard. When it's a squadron, of course.
How much has that doggy made off with? We investigate.
I issue a warning about gravitationally bound detritus, the orbital malaise of Sol 3-like worlds.
And I round things off with the BGS bit.
In a rare moment of coordinated disengagement, a number of mid-level dignitaries, systems administrators, and one man with a tray of budget sandwiches gathered in a small departure bay at Jameson Memorial earlier this week to witness the quiet conclusion of a public-facing era. Commander Chuck Handgun, long-time Pilots Federation spokesperson and former Dome of the Year, 3305, runner-up 3306, and controversially disqualified in 3307 after being caught applying a reflectivity enhancer, later confirmed to be industrial lubricant, has retired. Without ceremony or keynote address, he reportedly nodded at a custodian, pointed vaguely in the direction of the exit, and boarded his chieftain. A faint waft of unfiltered cigar smoke lingered behind him, the kind that suggests either dignified departure or that something is gently on fire. Those present say the vessel powered up, hovered in silence for a moment, and then departed along a trajectory best described as unfiled. His final known transmission was intercepted by a passing Type 6, in which he was heard to mutter, "That's enough bandwidth for one lifetime," followed by a long play of something described by audio technicians as emotionally charged monologue in antique Terran dialect, possibly from someone called Shatner. Handgun's departure marks the end of a notable run at the Pilots Federation's Public Relations Division, a role defined by an extraordinary capacity to remain calm while being asked, several thousand times per day, whether he personally was responsible for this outrage. Also of note, Commander Handgun was not a small presence at Jameson. He's a titan, of the non-Thargoid kind, described by colleagues as
a gravitationally significant entity.
A structural consideration.
and once by an overawed junior staffer as
what you'd get if a battleship did customer service.
His exit leaves not just a metaphorical void, but a very literal depression in the studio, plus the dent in the ceiling where he jumped for joy on time that live on air. It is expected the broadcast cipher will take several weeks to fully reinflate. Maintenance teams will be leaving the dent where it is in tribute. Known for his glossy scalp, diplomatic phrasing and refusal to acknowledge drama unless it was formatted correctly and submitted through the proper channels, he leaves behind a vacuum. Though whether metaphorical, administrative, or just the broken office hoover, no one is entirely sure. He takes with him 3 key possessions: his Hutton mug, still faintly warm, his Shatner archive, 12 volumes, 2 unreleased, 1 cursed, and a small engraved plaque that reads, "It's fine. Everything's fine." Where he's going is unknown. Speculation ranges from a self-imposed exile in the deep black to an unregistered listening post orbiting an unremarkable gas giant named Alan. A former colleague suggested he might finally be hunting the mythical Quiet System, one devoid of traffic, signal sources, or strongly worded open letters. The Pilots Federation have issued a brief statement.
Commander Handgun's contributions were measurable. We thank him and we wish him fewer comms pings in future cycles.
From all of us here at Hutton Orbital, 07, fly straight, fly safe, and keep that mug upright. The galaxy is a little quieter today. Possibly just how he likes it.
Station concourses across the bubble have this week been left awkwardly blank-faced following a terminal shortage of, well, terminals. The interactive mission screens normally found bolted to high footfall areas, typically surrounded by at least one commander breathing heavily on them, have mysteriously disappeared, in what authorities are now describing as an organised reallocation of public infrastructure. Initial reports were vague, citing technical outages and inventory rationalization exercises. However, a rapidly circulating internal memo from Hutton Orbital Logistics, tagged urgent and for the love of Alvin, not again, has clarified matters. 3 Hutton-affiliated individuals are believed to have personally overseen the wholesale removal of over 2,000 tons of touchscreen terminal units, citing operational needs related to this year's ECM gathering. They also ate all the cake. Witnesses placed Commanders Witherspoon, Vangteon, and Zaphod Beeble at the centre of the incident. All 3 were reportedly observed docking Type 9 heavy vessels to various concourse service ports, loading bays, and at least one ceremonial plaza. Station security teams were caught off guard, believing the vessels to be part of a scheduled recycling initiative. One technician recalled seeing Commander Vantian carrying 4 terminals at once, while muttering about ergonomics, next strain, and the right to command a virtual starship by poking at things without squinting at squitty little screens from ancient laptops. Meanwhile, Commander Zaphod Beeble was reportedly last seen attempting to jury-rig a 48-inch tactical display into the snack bar at ECM HQ, citing tactical pretzel requirements. Commander Witherspoon, when approached for comment, simply said,
"It's for educational purposes,"
while carefully calibrating a haptic feedback setting to simulate a warp core breach. The sheer volume of hardware, repurposed, has left many stations with makeshift alternatives, including hand-scrolled mission instructions on napkins, shouted directions from behind railings, and in one extreme case, a station janitor reciting available contracts from memory. Pilots across the galaxy have responded with confusion, irritation, and, in at least 3 cases, a mild apprehension for the reduced temptation to just do one more cargo run. The Pilots Federation has declined to issue a formal statement, instead releasing a short animated GIF of a shrugging stick figure. Attempts to retrieve the terminals have been politely deflected by ECM organisers, who claim the equipment is now deeply integrated into the event infrastructure, and removing it could result in a cascading loss of simulated warp integrity. It's also understood that several units have been fitted with cup holders, which may legally classify them as personal effects under the Colonia Charter of Improvised Furniture. Efforts to track down any surplus have been complicated by the appearance of several auction listings on the grey market app, WhatBuy, where listings for gently used concourse terminals may contain mission data are trending sharply upwards. Pilots requiring access to missions are advised to use their shipboard systems, personal devices, or, failing that, just ask Barry behind the bar, as he's definitely not serving any drinks and has nothing better to do.
The Pilots Federation has this week announced a sweeping update to its squadron programme, aimed at making the entire experience feel more squadron-y, a term which, according to officials, tested well in focus groups primarily composed of whoever was in the bar at the time and one marketing intern with a clipboard. It's still better than Vanguards, that evokes 4 burly men standing around a transit carrying truncheons. Among the most notable changes is a lifting of the squadron membership cap. Large, well-established groups such as Hutton Orbital truckers will no longer be forced to operate on the long-standing one-out, one-in policy, a system that led to some unfortunate misunderstandings, at least one duel, and a regrettable incident involving an airlock and an overzealous application of the phrase,
"You snooze, you lose."
The update also brings the tantalising promise of personalised squadron decals. While the Pilots Federation insists this will allow for individual flair with an unified identity, early access materials confirm that, tragically, Hutton and Mug-themed decals remain entirely unavailable. Hutton representatives have confirmed that they will continue issuing decals the traditional way, with a cardboard stencil, a can of industrial spray paint, and a prayer to Alvin that the overspray doesn't hit the engine inlet and cause an explosion. Most concerning for financial authorities is the introduction of squadron banks, a shared treasury where credits can be hoarded by the thousands, if not millions. The Bank of Zeons has issued a cautious statement warning that large-scale saving by fuel-handling, mug-carrying trading collectives may result in the galaxy's first case of mattress stuffed with credits-based deflation. Meanwhile, Brewer Corporation has been spotted upgrading its shipyards across the galaxy in preparation for the introduction of squadron carriers, not to be confused with regular fleet carriers, though they remain similar in length. The new models are reportedly much wider, designed to accommodate entire command teams, 3 redundant hollow meeting rooms, and in Hutton's case, a medium-sized canteen staffed entirely by holograms of the same cheerful but increasingly nervous man. A spokesperson from Brewer explained,
"We looked at current carriers and thought, what if it was less long snake, more round lad? Like a carrier that's been at a buffet since 3308 and refuses to leave until they bring out the cheese board."
Perhaps the greatest challenge, however, lies in rank designations. With 15 distinct hierarchy slots now available, the Hutton Orbital truckers have admitted that their classic structure, trucker, utter trucker, mother trucker, and cubicle 3 attendant, plus the one we can never remember, something to do with spanners, is no longer sufficient. A task force has been assembled to develop new titles and is believed to be considering terms such as Executive Mug Bearer, Gin Deployment Officer, and Deputy Acting Assistant of Fuel and Biscuits. Reaction from squadron members has been mixed. Some are excited by the possibilities. Others are concerned about the implications for uniform embroidery costs. One anonymous source summed up the mood as follows.
"Wait, what, there's a bank now? Oh, I'm going to need a spreadsheet, and a safe, and possibly a lawyer."
The full update is expected to roll out soon, a term widely accepted to mean somewhere between now and the heat death of the galaxy.
The Federation's brief and tumultuous experiment with the bureaucratic streamlining has come to an abrupt and entirely unsurprising end this week, following the sudden disappearance of Calico Zach Rackham, former presidential hopeful, confirmed ex-pirate, and, until recently, head of the Department of Galactic General Interdepartmental Efficaciousness, or DOGGY. Rackham, who famously abandoned his Federation presidential campaign after disappointing electoral performance, colloquially referred to by analysts as losing, has been controversially appointed by Jerome Archer to lead DOGGY, a body intended to sniff out inefficiencies across federal departments and not chew on them inappropriately. Critics raised concerns at the time, noting that the appointment of a man with a history of armed robbery, larceny, and several confirmed counts of making off with things that were definitely nailed down might not have been the ideal choice to manage fiscal responsibility. Those concerns have now been thoroughly vindicated. Sources within the Federal Accounting Directorate are currently investigating the apparent disappearance of several trillion credits from discretionary contingency subaccounts, one-of-a-kind historical tapestries, a ceremonial spanner from the Ministry of Bolts, and, most damning of all, what appears to be Jerome Archer's favourite bathrobe. The robe, described in official inventory logs as fluffy, Federation blue, with embroidered initials and a suspiciously warm pocket, was last seen hanging in the presidential residence. No forced entry was detected, and security logs have been accidentally deleted in accordance with Doggy's new data hygiene protocols. Rackham's current whereabouts are unknown. However, unverified reports place him in orbit around LFT 926, where witnesses claim to have seen an unusually sleek prototype vessel being assembled in a private shipyard. Early designs suggest it may be the first vessel capable of hyperspace travel without the use of hydrogen scooping or tritium fuel, instead powered, apparently, by a combination of ambition, secrecy, and extremely flexible definitions of physics. The project, dubbed Project Hiccup, is rumoured to utilise something called subquantum tickle drive, a propulsion system that experts agree doesn't exist, but which is being loudly patented in 4 jurisdictions anyway. An anonymous aide close to the Doggy department described the working environment during Rackham's tenure as
energetic, chaotic, and increasingly absent of office furniture.
They went on to say,
he kept telling us that less furniture meant more efficiency. Turns out less furniture also meant fewer places to store things, like evidence.
Federal authorities are remaining tight-lipped, stating only that a routine audit is underway, and that any conclusions will be made public just as soon as they stop laughing. In a final twist, a holovid message apparently left by Rackham was recently broadcast on a closed-loop frequency across several core systems. In it, he can be seen reclining in a luxurious captain's chair, wearing a suspiciously familiar robe, holding a cocktail, and stating, "Turns out efficiency's a lot easier when you can just take the whole budget with you. Calico, out."
In light of the recent catastrophic destabilization and fragmentary decoherence of the Thargoid Titan class entity currently situated within the Sol system's primary Sol 3 orbit, navigational authorities have once again been forced to issue high-urgency advisories regarding the already fraught domain of low to medium planetary orbits, particularly those surrounding so-called Sol 3-like planets. Though current events have been dominated by spectacular footage of the Titan's bifurcation, observed as a thermally energetic event followed by an impressively luminous exogenic dispersal cloud, the underlying navigational implications are arguably more significant than the pyrotechnics. It's a well-documented fact that humanity's initial forays into orbital deployment commenced circa the mid-20th century with the seminal launch of Sputnik 1 in 1957, old Sol 3 reckoning. Since then, extrapolations indicate that over 1800 years of orbital occupation have produced an astonishing accumulation of functional, decommissioned and miscategorized orbital matter. The resultant condition is known in contemporary astrodynamics as orbital saturation hysteresis, or in less technical parlance, a colossal and accelerating mess. The issue is particularly acute around Sol 3-like planets, whose combination of dense biospheres, high-tech civilizational output, and historical nostalgia leads to orbital layers populated not merely with satellites, but with weathered geostationary advertising platforms, commemorative cultural artifacts, and in one anomalous instance, the complete remains of a luxury cruise liner erroneously launched during the Great Martian Misclick of 2867. Now, with the disaggregation of the Thargoid Titan and its resultant ejection of biomechanical substructures and decaying hull fragments into orbital vectors spanning from 200 kilometers up to the Clark Belt, predictive models indicate an imminent increase in collision cascades, or what early 21st century theorist Don J. Kessler termed the Kessler syndrome. In modern parlance, objects smashing into other objects, producing more objects, each of which is travelling at velocity sufficient to turn a lightly armoured ship into fine metallic vapour. Compounding the matter is the fact that many ancient satellite orbits have decayed unpredictably due to minor variations in exo-atmospheric drag, magnetic field fluctuations, and the regrettable early habit of fueling retro rockets with substances now classified under interstellar environmental law as barely not weapons. For pilots operating in the 180 to 2,000 kilometre orbital band, the risks are substantial. Standard planetary approach procedures now require full lateral orbit prediction telemetry, real-time automated collision vector plotting, and in some systems the continuous sounding of an audible klaxon labelled simply duck. The Pilots Federation, in an unusually proactive display, has issued a Class 4 navigational directive advising that
transits near Earth-like worlds exhibiting significant orbital antiquity are to be considered semi-chaotic debris fields and piloted with corresponding caution.
Translation: try not to clip an 800-year-old weather satellite doing Mach 27 while you're trying to deliver biowaste. As for the remains of the Titan itself, preliminary scans suggest the dispersion field is rich in exotic matter decay products, which may offer both an analytical treasure trove and a rapidly propagating hazard. While scientists are eager to examine the fragments, salvagers have been warned that not all pieces are inert, and at least one collector's craft was recently digested. In conclusion, the orbital layers of Sol 3-like planets now represent a confluence of ancient ambition, contemporary clutter, and alien disintegration. For all aspiring navigators, a sober reminder: while hyperspace may be dangerous, at least you won't get shanked by 20th century television hardware at 7.8 kilometers per second.
Welcome to the Hutton BGS bit, where we grab a quick look at the big board in the Hutton Situation Room while security drags us away again. Then we try to remember what we saw like the conveyor belt on the Generation game. This week we continue with the expansion. I wonder where we'll pop up next. Booms are in Alpha Centauri, Barnard Star, Kokari, Wolf 359 and Ross 671. We are in election with the Sol Workers Party in KX Libre for control of Base Point. The Green Party of Brits Amino are in for a severe doing in the election in LT 7072, where Hutton is leading 3-0. There are outbreaks in Avic and Epsilon Indy. LFT 142 sees us in war with Azimuth Biotech. It's 1-1 at the moment, so you could make the difference. Oh, and there was a cuddly toy and a tease made. But what does it all mean? Well, if you want to truck it, then truck medical supplies into Avic or Epsilon Indy. If you want mission run, then get yourself over to LX Libre or tip the balance in LTT 7072. And if you want to shoot it, then shoot the Azimuth Biotech guys in LFT 142. And that's it for this week's Hutton BGS bit.
Phew! And here was me saying, we don't have much news this week, we'll keep it short, eh? Thank you very much, everybody, especially Valkyrius, to whom I gave an awful lot of long words. And
well, good evening, and I hope I read them to your satisfaction.
Oh, well, we are now educated about the perils of going anywhere near Sol 3-like planets.
Yeah, especially since I remember that Titan Cassio wasn't really orbiting, because if it was, it wouldn't have stayed over the same place over Earth all the time while not being geostationary. So it must have been hovering. Be careful for that. Those things are still powered.
Yes. And as they say, scientists are still probing the depths of the Thargoid Titan wreckage. And I suppose we'll start off. There was, I think, a Frontier. You told me last week that there was a Frontier live stream this week, so we're going to look at that in a minute.
Yes.
But one of the key things that was mentioned in passing, just sort of glossed over, like a shiny dome on top of Commander Chuck Handgun, was that Chuck Handgun is retiring.
Retiring?
Yes.
Who
He isn't very shy and retiring, but he's
not shy and retiring.
No, he's leaving. He's hanging up his pilot's license
And handgun.
Yes, or he's
No,
chucking
he's chucking that. He's not hanging
He's
up.
chucking it. He's chucking it. Yeah.
Yes.
How many years has it been?
Oh, it's 5.
It's been at least some years. Yeah.
I think it's 5 years, but of course he was a Hutton trucker before he was a Pilots Federation spokesperson.
He certainly was.
We don't know whether he's coming back to Hutton.
I think he might actually have been on Xbox.
There is no news on whether we're chucking him a going away party at ECM, though I suspect not. He's probably going to be in his garden smoking an exceedingly large cigar, which he seems to put pictures of quite regularly on his profile over on GalTwit. But I suppose it sort of remains for us to say, look, it's been an absolute joy to have him around. He's a good sport, and he's been on the Hutton Live show a few times actually over at ECM, and I think he's done something for us at LaveCon as well from the stage. Possibly.
Pretty sure he did. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has earned his Hutton mug. So we're going to miss him terribly. He's a thoroughly good egg, and as they say, a titan, a complete unit of community management. And he's done nothing but good while he's been in the role. Most of it through kicking ass, whether on our behalf, the community's behalf, or his team's behalf, kicking ass. So we're going to miss him terribly, and if he hears this, we might clip it for him. A bit of a for the mug to Chuck Handgun, also known as ARF. So, what else was in the live stream apart from that? I mean, there were new animals. There were farm animals. There was a chicken. There was a
honey badger.
There was a honey badger. Yes,
honey badger. Honey badger doesn't care.
Somebody described it as cuddly. Look at those cuddly claws during the live stream.
Claws.
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody said it was cuddly, and somebody else went, "Yeah, look at those cuddly claws."
It's the kind of thing Amelia would say during the Galnet Rares, isn't it? Oh, look, it's cuddly.
It's probably the kind of thing Steve would say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Briefly.
I think there was was there a water detail update? I'm pretty sure there was one of those as well.
Wow. We don't get water detail updates.
Yep, but basically you can build your own petting zoo.
Yes.
But that's not in our bit of space, is it?
They had the Farmyard and Zookeeper pack. That's what I saw.
Yep.
And that seemed to have all sorts of things going on. They had Highland Coos.
Highland Coos.
Big ginger cows.
But no, unfortunately, no Haggises is Haggard?
No Haggises.
No Haggises yet, no.
Haggises.
Haggises, right.
There were no Haggises.
We timorous
Is it not
beasties.
just haggis?
No,
those are the ones.
They get confused with actual geese.
Yeah, no, those are the ones that hang around the pond and honk at people.
Yeah, and chase them.
The aquatic haggises.
The aquatic haggises, yes.
Right, so there was that. But then when it comes to the spaceship bits, we did sort of cover it in the news, but I've got some screenshots. So let's see if I can put screenshots. Is it these ones? Here we go. It was originally called Vanguards, but the gentleman on the sofa, I forget his name, said that, that was a bit confusing because it's all about squadrons, really, so we're just going to call it Squadrons. Though I think we already had the Squadrons update. I don't know. But it's called Squadrons. And it's all the next big update.
Well,
yeah.
The updates... Sorry, go ahead.
We were going to say the same thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. The update is called Vanguards, but Squadrons are still be called Squadrons.
Right, okay. To clear up that confusion.
Yes.
So
make it worse.
For those of you very confused, because you're already in the Hutton Squadron, they're expanding it. They're not replacing it or deleting the Hutton Squadron. They're expanding it so that it's easier to find things. Because at the moment, the Squadron interface is almost sort of tacked on a sort of a glowing pop-up thing, and it's quite hard to find. And we're forever getting messages saying, "How do I join the Hutton Squadron?" And the answer is, well, you search for Hutton and then click join. But now there's sort of a more graphical interface, which you can see on screen. People can create their own squadrons still, but there's a cost to it, where previously there wasn't.
Yes.
I think that they've temporarily said it's 10 million credits or 2 vultures, I think they said during the stream. Was it 2 vultures?
Yeah, it was 2 vultures.
Anyway, so you can create a squadron, and I think...
that. Yeah, it's right. Vulture is 4.9 million, 4.925 million. That's right.
Yes.
So
same kind of thing. You can set your squadron up. You've now got a motto, which of course for us there's only one. You snooze, you lose. No, sorry, for the mug and the mission, and you tick the activities you're going to get up to and things. But on the right hand side of the screen at the moment, you can see 2 new things.
Yeah, you've got. Wait, right-hand side? I was about to say perks. Yeah, perks. Faction perks.
On the right-hand side, yes.
Yes, the perks
everybody,
are good.
You put your left hand up. Yeah, it says L. You put your right hand up.
Get down, dead meat.
Yeah. Right, it says primary perk and faction perk. So we can go all perky. And they can be all sorts of things. For Amelia, I mean, if she petitions us hard enough, there is a mining fragment increase perk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which means all your numbers about how many limpets you need during the quiz last time are going to be...
That is a point. It doesn't say yield increase. It says like you're going to need more of those things, yeah.
The fragments are bigger. They're not more of them. They're just really big. And you can do increased team trade dividends, which, well, that could be for us to try and go for a new galactic biggest trade record.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's dividends.
Well, those go hand in hand, because if you've mined a bunch of stuff with your fragment increase, then that has 0 cost spent on the cargo, and then you sell it all, and you're in a team. Mm-hmm. You get, and then you take the increased dividends, and it's got a Panther Clipper, yeah.
Yes. Oh, actually, yes. Well, Panther Clipper plus increased trade dividend. Oh, that's dividends. Yeah, trade values. Could be good. But then, obviously, Superpower Allegiance, we skipped that one because we don't like any of them. Supporting faction, well, that's obvious. That'd be Hutton. Supporting power, we skipped that one. And we selected up. What else has it got on these perks? It's got decreased colonization claim costs and decreased FSD boosts.
That's 25 million at the moment. So
I think there's one there where does it not decrease? You know, when you build your first asset, you've got to put so many materials in it. I think there's one that decreases that, so it's easier to build installations.
Well, I don't think you can start. I think you have to start with an outpost, like somewhere you can dock.
Yeah.
But then even at the moment, an outpost, one commander can do an outpost in a few hours. So.
Yeah. But it makes it easier, is the thing.
Yeah.
I also noticed increased Pilots Federation ranks XP gains, which means Dead Meat can start up another new Dead Meat clone and rank himself silly because of the speed of it.
Now, I'm interested on the decreased premium ammo costs. Well, firstly, it would be good to see if that also applies to standard and the cheap ammo. And secondly, it'll be very, very interesting to see if it applies to Guardian weapon ammo, and indeed other...
Is that a synthesis one?
Well, if you take, for example, like shard cannons, right?
Yeah.
If you're around a Titan and you don't... the most amount of time you can spend is going back to a port for more ammunition. Which is why the Anti-Xeno Initiative are very fond of exploding themselves and for an immediate return to the port. So, okay.
That was applause for the Anti-Xeno Initiative.
I see.
Impromptu from the audience.
But is it actually?
But if it's for their existence or for them exploding,
both maybe, I don't know.
Yes.
But the if it doesn't cost as much, if that also applies to the Guardian materials you need to synthesize shard ammunition, then that would be very good.
Mm-hmm.
My cup runneth over with delight, but let's fill it up the next time with a good scotch.
Right, okay, moving on to the next screen. This is the mildly controversial bit. I think everybody wanted to be able to... I want to draw penises on the side of my spaceship with custom decals. And the Pilots Federation said, no, but we'll give you some stencils.
Ingenuity will always find a way.
Yes.
Somebody will put those pieces together and make a penis.
If there's something that reading people's answers to quiz questions has taught me, yes, it is.
A cock and balls, or a pair of boobs, or, you know.
Well, the logo foreground, logo midground and background, I can see it's like a circle with a star. We could maybe fake up a Hutton-y kind of something with that, but there are no stories yet about whether there'll be a Hutton mug or whether our decals that we've got will be applicable. We are going to be petitioning to see whether members of the Hutton Squadron can apply the Hutton decal to the logo. But you can make a squadron banner so that everybody can show their proud allegiance, but we've already got decals, so we're not too fussed about that one as long as we don't arse it up or let somebody colourblind loose with the crayons, which means it's not my job. Yes, you look, there's the colours, and some of them are bluish and some of them are not. Yep, skip over it. Oh, and there's one with a star.
Ooh, lots of shades of green.
Yep, and there's a playing card with stripes. And there's all nasty logos. Right, and what else have we got here? Squadron details. You can put your mission in there, and the application requirements must adhere to the number one rule: be excellent to each other. That's quite a good one.
That's reasonable.
And lots of application screens, and then there's the management screen here. Now, one thing we did see, they didn't explicitly mention it, but you can see there that there are 10 people on the screen, plus 591 other commanders in that squadron.
Right.
Now, on
So
a
you
point
can
of
have at
order,
least-
Taran... Yeah.
You can have at least 601 in a squadron.
Yes. So Commander Taran said, well, they didn't say they were removing the cap. They just didn't tell us what the cap was. You are technically correct, Taran.
And that is the best kind of correct, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it does mean we can see who's online at the moment. It's a much nicer interface, this one. And recent activity. So you can see on the right-hand side, there seems to be some kind of bulletin board for recent activity. You know, Amelia blew up a rock. Valkyrius destroyed the entire Thargoid Empire using fragmentation cannons. That kind of thing. On the right-hand side. What else have we got here? We do have a bulletin board. Now, this is sort of new, because we've got the squadron chat top left in your cockpit. But then there is also a space for dead meat to just persistently write the word boobs and then get deleted. We might have to put a special category in the 15 dead meat with one member in that part of the squadron, and he's banned from posting the word 8085. Here we go. Oh, our current one says there's war in Kakari. That's because nobody... Naughty Body Wash, I know, it's because nobody bothers updating it except me, and I haven't. So I'm sorry about that, Naughty Body Wash. I will reprimand myself forthwith. Then there's, especially for Amelia, there's this screen. The all contributors to mining, but also the top 10 and top 50 contributors. Now, can somebody explain what he explained from the sofa for me so everybody else understands it?
Was it what about the
10s and the 50s?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask about the periodic winners of the leaderboard thing, but.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It's because the leaderboard works in 3 levels now, doesn't it? So you get your normal leaderboard where whoever does the most wins. And then what kind of balances this out for smaller factions is there's another leaderboard where it just shows the top 50 from each squadron and what they done. So, you know, if you get 1,000 people all doing a wee bit of mining, that'll contribute to a lot. But if you've only got 10 people, but they all do like a shit ton of mining, then they would win out in the 50 and the 10. So it's that kind of thing, and I think it's just for each activity.
Yeah, because I mean, basically, it's the anti-winged hussars update. Because
pretty much, because
they win everything.
At the moment, small factions find it really difficult to compete with larger factions. But the way the table works now, is if it's 3 different kind of ways it works, you know. So the 10s and the 50s will work just in, you know, the top 10 or the top 10, 50 contributors.
Yeah, you could have the galaxy's best anti-Xeno pilot in a squadron full of 10 people trying to compete against anti-Xeno initiative, and they're never going to get a reward, even though individually they were awesome.
Yeah, because another squadrons get 10,000 members who all do one each.
Yeah, and have Valkyrias in them. Yes. So this allows, smaller groups to be rewarded. And I would imagine those kind of cockpit ornaments we get, the medals we get, are going to be dished out not just to the big squadrons, but also the small individual, groups and things. So, but all the categories seem to be the same, apart from they've added a new category called System Colonization, which I don't know how well we're doing, but it's pretty darn well in sheer volume.
Yes.
Well, we might win that one sometime soon. There might be people doing more than us, but I can't imagine there are many.
Well, again, there's Hutton plugging away with just every member possible doing a system or two. And then you could end up with a small faction with 10 people who can't compete with that, but they're all doing like 10 systems each.
That will probably, noticing there's a score, that will probably come down to what's a system worth and what's an Orbis starport worth.
Yeah.
If you're putting up one system, yeah.
Naughty Bodywash says we have 29 colonies, we're about to claim 30. Now that's just in the Hutton project mission. We've got a couple of hundreds from individuals as well. Yes.
I thought you were up to 450 systems, something like that. Was it?
Oh, I think it's gone up again, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So yes, then we've got the rankings. So obviously squadron leader, master, rock breaker. This is for miners. They've done it especially for Amelia. All these ranks: rock breaker and minor.
They had to have master breaker as one of the rankings, didn't they?
Yes, yeah. Naughty. That's probably a leaving present from Chuck Handgun. And now we can do much more granular permissions. Because with big groups come big amounts of work. So we can actually allocate different permissions to different groups to do different things. And there's also things like, edit wallet ledgers. That's the banking thing. Yes.
What would a wallet be? That's new.
That's have I got a screenshot of that one? Banking overview. Here we go. Yes. So what we can now do is in your squadron, you can donate money to the squadron bank. Which can then either be given out to people to help give them a bit of a leg up getting their own carrier, or I'm assuming, because they didn't say it explicitly, we can use it to put towards the cost of the squadron carrier.
Yeah.
They didn't release an actual number of how much the squadron carrier actually costs. However, they did hint very heavily that the squadron wallet is intended for aggregated contributions for exactly that.
Yes.
So I have a few speculations on, two speculations I suppose, on how much it might cost, but we don't know. So.
But this is not just about.
Also,
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say also there's a section in there when you were talking about the granular permissions and things like that. You can give people access to the squadron bank account, and you can put a limit. You can put a spending limit on them, so you can give them effectively a Hutton credit card.
Yeah, so people saving up for a fleet carrier, everybody else can. At the moment, to lend people a hand, you need to sort of help them with a bit of, tritium or expensive stuff.
Throwing rocks at them.
Yeah.
Yes, throwing rocks at them, Amelia. But now, of course, we can do it legitimately via the squadron bank account. So potentially we can have a rank like saving up for a big ship. And then we can just donate to this and off you go. You may notice on the left-hand side here that this is not a bank that just stores money.
Oh, no.
It stores ships and commodities and personal assets. I imagine that's a bit like your stuff you find lying around in systems that you just pilfer. But ships, yes, you can actually donate whole ships to the squadron so that... people who need them or want to have a go with something can pick them up. Now, they said engineering and colour schemes and stuff won't transfer over, but modules would do. So Valkyrias could build and donate a number of pre-engineered Thargoid vessels to help people...
Pre-engineered.
Pre-built.
Not pre-engineered.
Pre-built.
Yeah.
So, or what you could do to help that person out is just make sure every module on it is A-rated. And then they can sell off the bits that they don't need to. They can sell off at the A-rated life support and get D if they want, and things like that, and it makes them a bit of money. So you're giving that person a ship and a bit of money.
So Amelia could build her ideal mining ship and donate a couple of them to the squadron, so that people who wanted to get into mining Amelia have the ideal, full mining ship as recommended by Amelia, the Claire Rayner of mining. Wasn't her who said as recommended by Claire Rayner for something? Anyway, yes, as recommended by Amelia Hawke for mining setup. And commodities, obviously, that's for donating mugs.
Yes.
Yep, and only mugs. Okay, what else?
I could do with some of that available space that they've got in
Only
there as
mugs
well. My desk is really full.
Only Mugs is a specialist website at Hutton, I think you'll find.
The that screenshot just there answered a question. The first thing I thought with commodities is people are going to be flooding that with corrosive items. So you have to be very careful when you take those. Yeah.
What is this? Is this sort of Thargoid? What's it bombing? What do they call it? UA bombing fleet carriers.
Yeah. Well, for example, but you can imagine sensors, research samples, and that screenshot there had Thargoid hearts, which is I can understand why, because you can get a Thargoid bobblehead with one of those.
I wonder if you can choose what you want and what you don't want then.
I don't know.
You can kind of do that. You can
commodities. Deposit commodity. Yeah, we wouldn't want somebody filling it up with rubbish like bio waste. Permissions. I think it does say permissions on the left-hand side. So maybe.
See if it doesn't work like that. We found a new way of working where you dive into somebody's squadron carrier and fill it up with bio waste and then fly it out.
One of the things we did.
Long hose and pump out cubicle 3.
Yeah, I think there's a bit where there's permissions for who can actually donate to the bank.
Yeah, we did. Did we get any images? I know I didn't put one into the loop here, but did we get any images of the squadron carrier? I don't think we were sent any.
There was. Well, they did show a picture of it. Which I'm fairly sure that was an asset originally shown when for Power Play 2 for the what they called stronghold carriers, but I think they used a different asset for the stronghold carrier, and they've now used that asset for the squadron carrier.
Yeah, I'm just
when
trying
it did look like two fleet carriers smashed together.
Yeah, it's got double landing pads on the slopey bits at the side.
Yeah, I saw an image earlier posted on Facebook.
Yeah, I was just trying to see whether I could.
I wonder what the facilities are like inside.
Oh, if you disembark.
Yeah.
That depends. If it's an Imperial one, probably gold plated.
I'm just trying to see if I've managed to insert
white
one into
inside.
the loop.
It's all white tiles.
Not that one. It's not that picture. It's not that picture.
One of the things we do want here is the being able to buy a Majestic class interceptor. Interdictor. What are they?
I've already got one of those. So I'm fine.
What, a Majestic?
Yeah.
There we go. I've got it. I've got the picture.
It's I got it I won it in a raffle actually.
Right.
Yes. I've still got to build a background for it. I've got that black 3.0 paint that I'm going to use for the background, and just put it on a wee kind of plinth in that and make it, give it a bit of a background.
That is literally a exact fleet, like Drake class fleet carrier layout on each side.
Yep. So, it looks like basically Brewer Corporation have gone on the cheap and just taken a few different carriers and welded them together with a big engine on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of pads. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that side. So 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. Yeah, there's a lot of pads. I think just a metric funk ton of pads.
At least 24.
Yes. And we don't know what it looks like underneath either.
That would be grey.
So
glowy bits.
Yeah, and they're saying this is targeted at July, I believe.
Yeah. Well, they always said summertime, so yeah. July, smack bang in the middle of summer, isn't it? So.
Yep. when we're all on holiday or busy prepping for ECM or things. Right, was there anything else covered other than that's going to be in July? Arthur leaving, more squadrons, bit more squadrons. They said they're not going to talk about the Panther Clipper. That's next month, so the end of June, they're going to be talking about the Panther Clipper some more.
Mm-hmm.
That was about it, wasn't it?
That's all I can remember.
It
may just be
squashed into the last 15-20 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, with honey badgers.
With the honey badgers.
There are going to be honey badgers in something. Yep. Okay, there's that one. So shall we do some space news?
Why not? Let's do some space news.
I am going to take a guess, given that we tend to report on it every week. Something went boom. That's just a guess, you know?
Yep.
Here we go.
See, that's the first headline.
Space news.
Yep, well, the first headline, this one exploded, fell over and sank into the mud. But the next one will probably do the same. So, it's Elon Musk's gigantic rocket, Starflight. I saw two. I saw the first
Add
thing.
one of two. That's a bit egregious.
Well, I saw a thing that came up, and they said, "Oh, it went further than they've ever went before, and further than expected." And then somebody else went, "It blew up shortly after impact." I'm going, that was the same report. You can't have it both ways. So I don't know what happened there. I mean, I can see it on the pad. It's fueling up. It's getting ready to go.
The two before this, 7 and 8, went boom on the way up.
Yeah.
Not long after separation. This one actually made it up to orbital heights and was doing fine until it wasn't.
Okay. So that's still progress.
Oh, yeah. They've solved the previous problem successfully. That's all.
And found a new one that needs solved.
And found a whole new one to solve for next time.
But I think you said a while ago, this is how they do it. They make them up, not cheap, but relatively cheap, and then fire them up. Yeah.
They've got the next one ready to go probably already as soon as the FAA say, okay, go on then.
Yeah.
And that's how they do it. It's iterative design. They keep going and they test as much as they can each time and fix what failed and carry on.
Mm.
Well, I hope it works out. I want to go to space.
well, in the end, that's the thing. But
Probably.
the trail of flames that comes at the bottom, it's bloody enormous. I'm sure the rockets in the 70s and 60s didn't have trails of flame like that.
Well, it's very directed, isn't it? So if you imagine
different fuel causes different colours, which makes them look very different.
Yeah.
I was thinking more it's directed actually downwards, whereas I'm trying to remember images of larger rockets where it kind of there's a bit of a 36-degree cone, whereas that seems it's actually being shunted downwards.
Yeah.
Beautiful shot diamond though, just below the
yes,
below the exhaust.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, well it went boom. I mean,
it went boom. The next one probably will as well, but that's not the point.
No, I mean it's rockets going up. It's cool. So okay, go on then. Let's move on to the next one. What have you got next?
Strange cosmic object. Weirder, and this one is Chandra X-ray telescope. Caught this thing blasting out X-ray radiation, and radio waves. And the mystery object known as ASCAP JI 1832. I'd be rubbish at astronomy. -0911 is somewhere in the Milky Way. It's about 15,000 light years away from us, but it flashes in radio waves and X-rays for 2 minutes every 44 minutes. And they're calling it a long period transit, whatever that means. So it doesn't seem to be like a pulsar. It's like one, but it's something else.
Yeah, it indicates rotation, just not quite as quickly as a pulsar.
So They seem to think it is something, but they don't know what it is, apart from very strange. And there you have it.
And they have a green slinky spring. Great.
Oh yeah, the green slinky round about it just adds to it something terrible.
Can I raise a question here? They got an image on screen of a magnetar. Could this be the true nature of ASCAP J1832-0911? That picture looks suspiciously familiar. I've seen that kind of Taurus before.
Have you now?
Yes.
Was it edible?
No. Donuts.
And jam filled.
I can't eat donuts anymore. No, doesn't it look suspiciously like the kind of shape coming out of a Thargoid Titan when he got angry?
Oh, yeah, it does look a bit like that. That's true.
Different colour.
I'm quite concerned now.
And the red bit around the edge looks like the shape of the Thargoid Titan after it got sulky a few days later.
Yes. So are magnetars actually not magnetars? They're exploding Thargoid Titans? Possibly.
Yes.
I mean, they did say its object is unlike anything we've seen before. Yes, but we've seen things like that before. Yes. Indication to go and hide or call for Valkyrius.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last one.
That's what. Yeah, it looks like
this is
historic Scotland are going to get hold of the. Well, somebody's going to get hold of the moon and put a fence around it. So what they're saying is there's a lot of kind of historical sites on the moon, and it's been described as at risk. So it is on a watch list of at risk historical sites. And they want to protect certain lunar areas from damage, or they said even looting and exploitative visitation by future lunar tourists. So they're kind of at that stage now where they think, yeah, we better put,
you better set up a trespass zone that fines 100 credits.
Yeah, and a wee man to sit in a chair next to it. You go, no touching, don't touch it, no photos.
All they need to do, and this could actually be the explanation, is permit lock it.
Yeah. Permit lock the moon.
Maybe that's why
permit lock the
that's
moon.
what they decided to do, and it's still locked in the future.
Yeah.
They forgot to take the lock off after. Well, doesn't this smack of Futurama? Isn't in Futurama the moon a historical site?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also a theme park.
Yes, there's also a theme park. But
do you remember when Fry's doing the countdown? By the time he gets to 3, they've landed.
yes. and wasn't that the one with the Crushinator in it as well?
Yeah, Crushinator. I love him, Paul.
Yes. And there wasn't that comedy about Space Force that was done on telly a while back, where a couple of countries were landing on it, and they were taking moon buggies over to each other's landing zones and smashing their stuff, and because they were fighting over things on the moon. Well, yeah, you know the one I mean.
Yes.
I mean, the moon's very big, and I know there's a bit we've landed on, but not that much. And most of it is things like Chinese landers falling on their sides, isn't it? Or American landers falling on their sides. A lot of landers landing on their sides.
Yeah, I think they're more concerned that people are going to land on the moon, get in a moon buggy, drive to the Apollo 7 landing site and steal a bit of the gold.
Moony.
That's on the,
they get moon from the moon.
Yes.
At that site and spoil it.
I'll just go there and steal bits of gold foil, and then everybody will be stealing gold foil, and there'll be no gold foil left.
Oh, take it home, sell it on eBay. Yeah.
But they might walk around and disturb Neil's footprint.
Yeah, that's true. And Neil's not there to put another footprint down, so
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they need is a series of small walls.
A fence. Or just one of those, those ropes you get that you put the post in, and there's like a kind of twisty rope with 2 metal hooks that goes between it.
Yep, that would do it.
Yeah. I'll do it nicely. That's all you need. People know to stay back when they see a velvet rope.
Especially when there's a £200 bouncer there going, you're not on the list.
Yes.
Well, I mean, imagine somebody's going to want to go up there and take a selfie near that site to prove that it wasn't faked.
You could put up a little museum plaque thing next to it as well.
Oh, yes. A blue plaque. One of those blue plaques that you have on the side of buildings in London and things, Yes, Neil
Well,
Armstrong.
I was thinking more the ones when if you're walking around a museum or just somewhere that's got some sort of historical information board.
And then Just Stop Oil will turn up and throw jam on it.
Yeah, people are assholes and people would spoil it.
They don't deserve. This is why we can't have nice things.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Someone would nick all the copper and take it down the scrap merchant and try to sell it as legit. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Because that's what happens. Other than in Texas, where Texans just shoot people who do that. But am I just characterising Texans? I don't know. We don't do that round here.
Yes, but you're doing it accurately.
I was going to say, has Buck been on the phone to you?
Flat Mooners will go there, yes. Pink Floyd will do a gig. Or clones of Pink Floyd will do a gig from the dark side of the moon. Yes. Right.
Flat earthers will be packed into shuttles and made to go.
The moon's made of cheese, and Wallace and Gromit were going to ski down it. That's
that's right. Yeah, I think that was Crushinator was in that as well. I mean, it might have been an old cooker, but it looked like Crushinator.
I think it was her cousin. Slash nephew slash
a cousin Bubba.
Right. Okay. Is that it for our space news?
That's it for space news.
Here we go.
When you don't know where to get more space news, 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 space news.
Do we have a word of the week?
We do have a word of the week. And the word of the week this week is Borborygmus.
Borborygmus?
Yes.
That's an interesting word. What does that mean?
It means intestinal rumbling caused by moving gas.
Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Oh, yes, I can. Rudolf Hucker's diet was going very well, except for the deafening Borborygmus.
You're not on my Christmas card list anymore.
Good.
At least it's internal rumbling.
No, it can be heard from the outside.
for now.
Yes,
it's when bellies rumble.
But the gas is moving internally, not externally.
Oh, yes. It's moving towards an exit. It's moving towards an exit point.
I think that sounds like what Thargoid Titans have when they do the heat vents, because you can hear the rumbling of something.
Very possibly. Yeah.
I mean, it portends, it bodes, doesn't it, about what's going to happen next?
Yes, something's going to happen. But yeah, it's like when you're sitting working and he's... And, you know...
I get that on airplanes.
Yeah.
You're sitting in your seat with your seatbelt done up, and all of a sudden, you as the altitude changes, your insides go gurgly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's uncomfortable. I have to fidget now.
Yeah, your inside's trying to come outside.
It's a good thing the tube sees cloth and not leather, otherwise it would be noisy.
It's that noise. It's that noise that your belly makes when it gets to a very, very quiet point in a meeting full of important people.
Yes.
And you go, I'll just have a biscuit.
And the noises happen. You think, can I just hear that through my body, or did I make a really loud internal noise?
You
look around.
And everybody's, unless it's deafeningly loud, everybody's generally too polite to say anything. But you can catch the sideways look and go, yeah, everybody did hear that. So
Borborygmus, yes, which we will not having much of, hopefully, at ECM this year. On the note of ECM, I was asked by Commander Wotherspoon to give an update before we go across to the Space Fact of the Week from Commander Volcarius. Because we've been, I think it said, buying 2,000 tons of touchscreens and robbing all the touchscreens out of the concourses, which is mostly true. That we did take 3 cars down to the southwest and raided an awful lot of computers, because they weren't just selling, they wouldn't give me just 10 that I wanted. So we have many touchscreens now, and we're actually firing up the latest version of Artemis, which is called Cosmos, which we're testing this weekend in preparation for somebody's stag do next weekend, and then in preparation for ECM. So it's a better looking, better running version of Artemis, but it's going to be running on really big screens, 22-inch touchscreens instead of squitty little laptops. So you get that kind of Starship Bridge vibe by poking the screen. Hello?
Sounds good.
But we're rigging them up and testing them. But what it means is we're going to have 2 Artemis rigs, and then we're going to have 10 spare machines, which we're going to use for stuff like other games. I don't know, Worms or Doom or Quake or Racing or something. So we're going to be having more machines playing some retro stuff in the main room. We've also taken delivery of 3,319 Lego bricks.
Wow.
Which, when assembled, make one rather large ship.
Ooh.
Which
Are they all little 4x2 bricks, and it's actually a Panther Clipper? It's just a block.
No, it isn't. Well, it is sort of blocky, this ship. We're Hutton truckers, so you can take some fairly good guesses what manufacturer is going to make it. But it's a few kilos of bricks, and they're currently occupying an enormous box, which we've been counting through to make sure they're all there. And that's going to be one of the missions during ECM this year, alongside all the rest of the stuff that we're doing as well. I think I mentioned we've been sponsored by Forbidden Planet and by a place over in Coventry, and all sorts of goodies. So it is shaping up very well. We are getting close on the last 20 tickets. In fact, we are into the last 20 tickets. There are 20 left, and you've only got, 80 odd days. Must be about 80 days now. So if you are thinking about coming, or you haven't bagged your ticket yet, or you've got a mate that wants to come, we're going to have to start thinking about closing down the bookings in about 20 tickets time, because it'll be chock-a-block, and other than that, we're going to need some industrial lubricant to get everybody in. I'm just looking up how many. There we go. How many days? I'm guessing 79 days. That wasn't a bad guess.
Good shot.
Yep. So 79 days time. But we are probably going to run out of tickets. I mean, there's always space for the odd straggler who made a complete cock up. But yes, if you haven't,
plenty of odd stragglers in Hutton.
There are definitely some odd stragglers in Hutton. So yeah, keep an eye on the message boards about ECM. Right. Time for some music, I think, isn't it? Where's the music? Here we go. It's this one.
Space facts, lots of space facts that what you need to know. Think from Hutton straight to your brain. Beam from Hutton straight to your brain.
Welcome to Space Facts, where this week we're taking stock, taking off, and taking over the galaxy, when the only correct answer to the question of how many habitable planets humanity needs is yes, and the supply of Sol 3-ish worlds only goes so far. The top trucker topic becomes those sneaky planets for which you have to check the system map to see if they're worth a load of credits on the surface scan. The top-notch, tremendous, and terrific terraformables. Fact number 1. When it comes to choosing a star class, habitable planets are as picky as the Parisian royal family. Sol is a G-class star, also known as a yellow dwarf, and this is basically the brightest possible type for supporting a human colony. Above that, classes O, B, A, and F are larger and hotter, with more intense and unstable radiation output, and their lifespans are much shorter than the classes G, K, and M. Speaking of which, K-class orange dwarf stars are acceptably less luminous, but M-class red dwarf stars, such as Proxima Centauri, are not ideal at all. In theory, they have a habitable zone, but it's so close to the star, 5 light seconds, that stellar flares and tidal locking become a huge problem. So in practice, we really need to snaffle up the G and K class stars before considering the more common M classes. Fact number 2. Speaking of habitable zones, that orbit radius also has to match the luminosity of the star. For G-class yellow dwarfs, such as Sol, this radius is around 470 to 690 light seconds, with Sol 3 itself wobbling around the 500 light second mark. For K-class orange dwarves, the range actually has much more variance by subtype. It can be as far as 600 light seconds, but can also be as close as only 50. So if you ever get the chance to choose your K-class subtype, definitely call dibs on the former. Fact number 3. Due to having an actual thin atmosphere as opposed to no atmosphere, and actual water being present under its surface, one of the least bad early terraforming candidates for settlers from Sol 3 was Sol 4. It does lack a magnetic field, making radiation shielding a paramount concern, but for the most part, the task of terraforming Sol 4 consists of thickening that atmosphere and setting up functional hydroponics for growing plants because the soil is toxic, and shelter from all the dust storms, and adapting the settlers themselves for living in 0.38 gravity, but it all worked out in the end. Factor number 4. Speaking of atmosphere, a really important gas to introduce when terraforming a planet is carbon dioxide. Despite Sol 3 being packed with 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and 0.9% argon, the most terraforming candidates actually need a CO2 boost. This has the dual effect of both warming the planet, which otherwise can be just dangerously cold in general, and also reducing the wild temperature variations. That's not to belittle the nitrogen and oxygen though, without which there would kind of be no such thing as liquid water flowing on the surface. And fact number 5. Terraforming a planet requires a lot of energy. To set up this comparison, our personal starships output amounts of energy around 5 to 50 megawatts. A typical nuclear power plant in humanity's nascent space age would output around 1 to 4 gigawatts. Several hundred of those could just about reach the 1 terawatt mark in terms of rate. Now imagine maintaining that rate for an hour. That would generate 1 terawatt hour of energy. Well, for terraforming, at minimum, it takes around 1,000 terawatt years. And that's it.
That's it?
That's it. That's it. That is. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Space facts, lots of space facts that what you know they need to know. Think from bottom straight to your brain. Beam from bottom straight to your brain. Beam from bottom straight to your brain.
Litho.
I was muted. And now it's time for that most marvellous describer of events, the rocket launcher wielding pacifist herself, the one and only Flossy with the CG News.
Who is this superhero? Chicks?
Nope.
Mia, the apology officer?
No way, man.
Helen, the mild-mannered CG publisher?
Could be. Hutton Flossy, #1 super gal, oh yeah. Hutton Flossy, Alvin's CG pal. She's got style, a unique style, and a swing that just goes clang. When the forum gets rough, she's super tough with a Hutton Flossy pen.
Hello. Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. Well, there's no new CGs this week, but part 2 of the CGs that started last week. Support Edmund Mahon in Trade War. It was closing on Tier 4 when I checked earlier, but it's now reached Tier 4. That'll be about 100 million units collected by about 11,000 contributors. And support Nakato Kane in the Trade War passed Tier 2 a short while ago with 25,930,790 units collected by 2,908 contributors. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Amelia.
Ah, right.
It's seamless.
Sorry. Seamless. Someone put me in there. Let's go over to Beetlejude and Witherspoon for the Galnet news.
I'm hoping it is video. I didn't check. Is it the video one this week before I mashed the button? I think he said video, didn't he? I'm just scrolling back to have a check. Oh, it is. Here we go. I'll push the button. It's totally seamless.
Galnet News Update, 29th of May 3311. Squadron carriers are coming soon, but despite this excellent and unexpected news, there's disappointment among some commanders. The carrier will have a bank that can be used by commanders in the squadron to redistribute wealth, and there'll also be the ability to borrow spaceships that have been built and checked in by other commanders in the squadron. This is a hugely useful opportunity for experienced commanders to help out relative newcomers. They can build an A-rated ship and make it available for others to try out. However, the ships cannot be engineered. Some have called this a deal-breaker, while others have expressed more nuanced disappointment. However, an A-rated cutter is still likely to be an impressive ship for a new pilot to take their first flight in.
The Pilots Federation has advised commanders to be alert for conflicts between powers over the coming weeks to maximise their earning potential. The powers have already boosted merit payouts for acquisition activities, and it's believed that this and future changes to the reward structure will lead to a less stable, more dynamic, and for Pilots Federation members, more profitable galaxy. It seems highly likely that the powers will be offering incentives both to their own power agents and to guns for hire in order to give their expansion plans an edge over neighbouring powers.
Despite Councillor Nakato Kane promising to match the pre-engineered power distributor rewards offered by the Prime Minister, the damage appears to have been done, with the vast majority of support being offered to Edmund the Brown. Even Kane's own supporters have largely abandoned her, and are getting the best of both worlds by earning merits and reinforcing Kane's Winiyama system by earning trade merits, as they hand in commodities to Mahan the Mediocre's trade initiative.
It's been a great show. What a one to go out on. Thank you to everyone who's joined us. It's been an absolute honour to be here. 07 Commanders. I'll see you all in the black. Goodbye.
Oh, well, by my half. There we go. That was a nice little addition by Beetlejude and Witherspoon at the end there. Oh, I feel all nostalgic. I miss him already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always reload.
Right, well, that's sort of coming towards the end of the bit. Now, normally we do green room bit here. Now, I was just trying to see, because the green room feed to the room next door is broken, but it doesn't mean we can't drag people into the green room here. I can't see anybody apart from somebody hanging around in the bar, which is through the other window over there. I know they have been in chat a little bit, but I don't know whether they're intending on joining us or not. So, Commander Naughty Body Wash, could you please wave... Oh, no, Commander Aiden's turned up. I think we'll blitz through this super quick. Do the quick in 2 sentences or fewer kind of green room week. Where is he? We've got Commander Aiden and Naughty Body Wash. Oh, they're both in the... Here we go. Let's drag them into here. There's 1. And there's 2. Somebody got the magic button.
No, but I'm working on it.
You're working on it. We'll do the magic button in a minute. We're going to go for a super speedy green room, unless there's something really extensive, so we can rattle through it, because I need cubicle 3 quite desperately. What was the word that was used earlier? Anybody remember the word of the week?
Borborygmus.
Of course not.
Yes. That's happening. And I might achieve liftoff an orbit sometime soon. Have we got the magic numbers yet? Is he working on it?
No, I can't type that fast.
Can't type that fast. Okay. Do 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 diddle 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 dim. Flossy's pan's got a lot bigger. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's not so much a pan as a skillet. No, it's something even bigger. A dish.
Right, there you go.
Yay! Okay. First one is Valkyrius Quiz Commander Aiden. And we're get short and snappy so that we can escape before I kill everybody. It's
Good evening, Aiden. Good evening, Commander Aiden. Commander, do we have Aiden?
Good evening.
Aha! What have you been up to in the space?
I have been busy working on my system, as it were, and now have a planetary port that seems to be mostly useful. The only minor snag is I don't seem to have any ceramic composites at it, despite it being a refinery system, but hey, never mind. It's still got everything else. And I'm just in the process of going, oh, okay, well, let's build a Coriolis above it to see what happens.
Should do. Yeah, well, that's the intention. And was that 30 System 32, was it?
No, this is the one from ages ago. This is the one that I think it's one of the early bridge systems.
Yeah, it's good to fill it in.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've been told to keep it quick, so unless the
yeah, I've decided to call the station, or at least this is what came up as the part of the random generator, Lefschetz Folly.
Lefschetz Folly.
Yeah.
That sounds rude.
It got me to giggle, so I thought, oh, okay, I'll keep it.
Yeah.
But, you know, other than that...
No 5K.
Evgeny Lifshitz, leading Soviet physicist, and brother of Ilya Lifshitz.
Yeah, entirely possible. But it's still a folly. But, yeah. And other than that, yeah. Nothing more game-related for me. So for the mug.
There you go, for the mug.
Right, it's down to me to quiz the Naughty Body Wash. Naughty Body Wash, how are you? What have you been up to?
Good afternoon. Just been working on the highway.
Are you working on the highway? How is the highway going? You were saying earlier it's up to 29.5.
Yeah, we're 29 right now. We've been spending time on infrastructure due to stretched supply lines. So infrastructure, and then we're going to pick up a stepping stone on 30 to try to get a little something special on 31.
Oh, we've got something special. We've got a nice system lined up, do we?
Potentially. We'll see.
Potentially. Cool. And have you noticed improvements with the changes to these strong and weak links?
It seems to make things a little bit more predictable and maybe require less building of refineries and things like that, but a little bit better.
Fantastic. And if anybody wants to find where the Hutton Bridge Project stations are, can they do so in the galaxy map if they're part of our squadron?
Yes, just about all of them have a bookmark. There may be one or two missing, but they're mostly bookmarked.
In the squadron bookmarks, just look for, waypoint 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down, so you can visit some of them.
Yes, yep, they go all the way to the end.
Fantastic. And obviously on top of the Hutton Bridge project, we've also got individual efforts, like Dabby Major, Dabby Minor, but this is the official one that we're heading out there in a straight line connected all the way back to Hutton Space. So cracking job, and hopefully we'll find somewhere nice to build for Alvin when we finally get rid of all the brown dwarf stars.
Yeah, we are above the brown dwarf plane. They're all below us at this point, so we've got the galaxies open up for us right now.
Fantastic. We haven't got any stars with the little wavy arms on or anything yet?
No wavy arms yet.
Okay, maybe soon.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for all your efforts on that one, and to everybody who's been helping you out. Do you have anything else to add before we move along?
That's it for me, just a further mug.
No, well, thank you very much for coming to join us. Amelia, I don't know why you've got an extra M, but Amelia, you're next to quiz the apology officer.
Hello, Mia. Mia.
Mia, you're muted. It's seamless again.
I hear no seams.
It's like asleep like a dormouse in the teapot. Well, we'll come back. We'll come back. In which case, Flossy, Litho.
Hello. How you been doing, Litho?
Hello. Not been in game since last time we were asked, so probably it's just
All right.
for the mug from me.
Okay, thank you for the mug.
Keep it quick.
Just checking, is the apology officer back yet? No. Okay. So next up is Volcarius, I think.
Good evening, 21.
Oh, me. Yes, hello.
It's you. Yeah. Have you been, with all this talk of the colonisation, have you had a hand in any of this?
I have one of the Hutton Bridge project systems is mine, and my strong and weak links are both strong and weak in appropriate measure.
Ah, right. And
but other than that, I've been in the simulator room, messing around with a few things in the simulator room. Cosmos, obviously for ECM. That other space game, trying to work out how it works and see how broken things are, but it's not doing too bad. And heck divers, apparently you can now pick up a flag and stab people with it. So I had to make some software adjustments so you could call in a flag that you could then pick up and stab people with in heck divers. Other than that, some heavy duty programming most of the time.
Very familiar with that. That's most days.
Boils my noodle. I had to write a deployment system that would check, deploy, and upload 220,000 files earlier in the week without going wrong. And it worked, which was delightful.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. And now it keeps an eye on them, so it doesn't upload them all again. It just does it incrementally, but rather dull.
That
but
sounds like rsync. It sounds like you've made rsync, or you're using rsync. But,
with version controlling and in packages and all sorts of stuff. But there's more about that. News will be coming sometime soon. Brackets ish.
Indeed.
But for the mug from me, is the apology officer back yet? No? So the apology officer can't quiz Flossy. Does somebody else want to quiz Flossy? Somebody grill Flossy while we wait for the apology officer. Who's muted?
Flossy, what have you been up to?
Oh, well, this week I've been doing a lot of the colonisation. I've built 3 ground bases in my in the second of my systems on the highway. That's number 22. It's called 285 Sector GST D385. And it's a big system, and the planets that have all the interesting features are on the far side of it, 500 and odd thousand light seconds away.
That's just round the corner.
Yeah. So I thought, I'm definitely going to need a flight carrier for this. I don't normally use them for things like that, but I'm going to have to. So I made a note of all the different things I needed. I had a big spreadsheet. So I need so many of that for that one, so many of that for that one, so many of that for that one. And went through all the ingredients, right? And tallied them all together. Then went to my usual sort of supply system and collected them all the other night. And then I spent the following night doing 2 of the bases. And then yesterday I was on most of the day doing the 3rd one. And finally finished the 3rd one yesterday afternoon.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I did some tourist bases, thinking, well, there's a lot of like fumaroles and geysers and things on this planet. So I built one, and I thought, I hope it's got some interesting views when it's built. Wow, there are hundreds of the things within a short hop of the base. They can look out of their windows in the accommodation and see all these little sort of puffs of steam and fires and all sorts. It's so it's worked out really well. I was really pleased with that.
Nice one.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but
I'm sure there's some other systems somewhere that need help. So and if not, you'll just have to get a 3rd system up and running.
Yeah, I'd like to get one which has got more. Yeah, I'd like some with plants. Oh, no, I've got geological stuff on this one, but I'd like some with plants.
Looking for some bio stuff. There's got to be some out there.
Yeah, and lighter. I mean, this one does have a proper star, yeah, but
it's a long way away.
It's a long way away, yeah. Actually, it does have a star on each, part of the system.
Binary.
Yeah. So we're not too far away from the star, even at the far end. So yeah, I'm really pleased. So it worked out well. I don't know if I'll get any trade or anything, but I'm just pleased that they got a view of all of.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You'll get tourists; they'll be happy.
Yeah. Keep the tourists happy.
Yeah.
And well, I think that's about it from me. So it's for the mug.
For the mug. And now it's me again to Vulcarius.
It's me. Hello.
It's you. So what have you been up to?
I did a thing. I actually got round to doing some power play, which I hadn't really gotten around to doing before. And so I managed to get fourth, not just in the top 10. I got the fourth position for the week. I did actually send a screenshot of it, which it may or may not be. Well, it probably isn't in the. It isn't ready to show or anything, but yeah, I got fourth. I was doing crack rocks.
You were doing what?
I was doing Amelia's favourite activity. Cracking rocks.
So cracking rocks, not selling rocks of crack. Okay, that's not quite so bad.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I like subsurface mining. I know nobody does, but subsurface mining of low temperature diamonds is actually quite profitable and quite good for merits. But it was mostly core mining though, with seismic charges, as in this case it's known as under mining, which is a nice little pun. Yeah. And aside from that, some upgrades to the quiz system. There is one major one last feature which hasn't been used yet, which should be ready.
Is it boobs?
No. I mean, conceivably yes, but practically no. It's been very valuable. So thanks to everyone who's been taking part in the quizzes for the last couple of shows. Especially the updates to the kind of the back end system for running it. It's been very valuable to get that workflow as quick as possible. Despite that, I can imagine it's going to need 2 to 3 people. I'm trying to think of the size of ECM, including people participating remotely. It's going to need graders like whizzing through those things, and I've even made a group system for that, so that you're not working over each other. If you tell your own interface how many of you there are and which one of you so like 1 of 4, 2 of 4, it'll actually fan out all the grading to do.
Nice.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be able to scale to ECM.
We'll manage. Nothing ever runs to schedule at ECM anyway. I mean everything always runs perfectly smoothly and on schedule at ECM anyway, so it'll all be fine on the day.
We don't like to disappoint, so I'm gonna try and get it as prepared as possible. I think, and certainly doing it on the show is also. I don't know. Do you like do?
Yeah, they're fun.
I was gonna say generally doing a quiz segment occasionally on the show. If that's something that we could actually just do on the show, then that is very good for me, because it gives me more ways to
from time to time they're fun to have. We'll have to work out some prizes for them, but other than that, they're good.
Yeah. And for the mug
do we have an apology officer now?
We do. Yes. I had to go.
Right, Amelia, quick, grill the apology officer.
Mia, are you all right?
3 minutes on each side.
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
Anything you want to add to that?
Nope.
For the mug.
For the mug.
Hey, totally worth it. Yes. Right, it's me to ask Amelia. Amelia?
I'm good for the mug.
How's Mooncake? Come on, with one more thing. How's Mooncake?
Mooncake is currently shouting at me because I'm not paying enough attention to her.
Would that be for the meowg?
For the meowg.
Oh,
meowg.
Get off.
Or pour the mug.
Right, well, that's...
Yeah,
that
on
seems
that
to
note.
Be, yeah, that seems to
do,
be...
do you reckon that was a... or...
I think very much a Badoom-tish.
I think it was a bit of both.
Or either that or Brian Blessed.
Oh, yeah, Brian Blessed, please.
What? Brian Blessed? Oh, I don't think I've got
Brian
any of
Blessed.
that.
You have.
Bollocks!
That's the one.
Right. On that note, right, it's to the end of the show for another month. Now, Flossy, some calculation came through from an enterprising soul earlier that we are approaching in the next little bit our 500th show. Not quite yet, but soon. We're double checking the numbers because there were one or two sort of test broadcasts we might need to delete. But certainly, I would say in the next 2 months we'll be hitting our 500th show. I don't know if we're going to do anything special, or we're all going to be on holiday, or we're all going to be at ECM, but we are definitely rapidly approaching 500.
Yeah.
So that's 500 doses of 2 hours of script writing and 500 doses of 2 hours of broadcasting. And, oh my goodness, I don't know how many images we've created and, news articles we've written and rares and all sorts of stuff. But my goodness, is it really that many? But we will update as soon as we've done the finalised bits on the maths on when the 500th show is going to be. But it's going to be soon, brackets, trademark, party.
Yeah.
Woo! Yep. There will be cake. Even if it's just me eating it. Okay, well, what we normally do now is we play some closing credits, which Litho's carefully transcribed for all of us, and we go and raid somebody. So what I'm going to go and look at the moment is who needs raiding this week. So we're just going to go and have a look who's streaming. If the community want to join in as well, I've got any suggestions. If they've got hundreds of viewers already, no. We need somebody who needs a leg up. Ooh. We go exploring. Somebody there. Drink water today.
Views.
We've got somebody who says drink water today. Who else have we got?
Well, you should really drink water every day, otherwise you might end up dead.
Oh yes, lots of it.
No, I just drink beer on the other days. It's fine.
Let's. Any suggestions?
I think drink. Well, it's Trilby A, TRLBA has the drink water today. That seems good. Yeah.
We'll go and drop in on Trilba. So we're going to play the credits. You've got to read the recipes.
I got an echo.
You've got Lego.
An echo.
An echo, yeah.
Is there an echo in here?
It might be all the Lego.
Here.
I'm not getting an echo.
Here.
No.
Here.
No. Maybe your
Toast's
sound's
ready.
on from. Maybe your sound's on from Twitch, Flossy, as well.
Could be.
Could be.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Oh, you've busted. Right. Well, I'm gonna play the credits while you sort it out. But should we just yell bye bye everybody? Thank you very much for Aiden.
Bye bye everybody.
And the body wash.
Bye bye everybody. For the mug.
For the mug.
I've lost the button. It's just,
no.
We went too fast.
Just there, just over on the left.
No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. Father Mac, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Father Mac, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. To go cruising to Hutton, whoa, no journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. Father Mac, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Sing the Hutton Trucker song. Father Mac, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. Father Mac, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the show. Everyone's buggered off now, so why don't you bugger off too?